there have been a number of festivals celebrating Korean pop culture, including its screen productions over in India, as well as in Germany and the UK, to name a few in recent days. On Press Perspective today, our panel of media members touch upon the hype over Hallyu. Hello and welcome to yet another edition of Press Perspective. It's Wednesday, October 23rd here in South Korea, and time for a weekly coverage of the Hallyu highlights that have been making international headlines. For this, I have Choi Chi-hee here in the studio. Chi, it's good to have you back.
Hello, Sunny.
I also have Arpita Adhya, an entertainment journalist over in India. It's a pleasure to have you with us, Arpita.
Thank you so much for having me, and it's a pleasure likewise.
Right, we'll start here in the studio then, Chi. Let's begin with details of the world's largest content expo that took place in New York last week, I believe, including the participation of Korean works, right?
That's right. So the New York Comic Con 2024, it was held from October 17th to 20th, so last week. It was a significant event for the webcomic industry, particularly for the Korean webtoon scene, because this year's convention showcased the growing popularity of K-webtoons in North America, with major companies like Webtoon and Wattpad Webtoon Studios playing a pivotal role. Now, they hosted multiple panels, creator signings, and interactive fan experiences, highlighting the increasing recognition of Korean webcomics in the Western market. Korean webtoons have gained traction in North America through strategic partnerships with entertainment giants like Netflix and Crunchyroll, and Webtoon, the largest platform for digital comics, has revolutionized how global audiences consume comics, especially through its mobile-friendly format of scrolling down vertically as you read the comic. So with over 170 million active users worldwide, Webtoon continues to expand its reach by adapting popular titles into animated series, dramas, and movies. And this year's NYCC showcased K-webtoons as a rising force in the global entertainment industry, marking an important step toward deeper integration into Western pop culture. And in addition to the growing popularity of K-webtoons at events like New York Comic Con, these webtoons have also found their way into academic institutions in the U.S. So recently, schools such as the School of Visual Arts in New York and Augusta University in Georgia have started offering courses on the vertical scroll webtoon format, which is really a hallmark of Korean webtoons that allows for seamless mobile reading. And this development highlights how the unique storytelling style of K-webtoons, originally popularized in Korea, has become a subject of academic study abroad. So for example, at Savannah College of Art and Design in Georgia, again, courses on vertical scroll webtoons were officially introduced last year, and students there are also actively involved in K-webtoon clubs, workshops, as well as webtoon creation, often organized in collaboration with alumni, have become an annual tradition as well. And the spread of K-webtoons in academia reflects increasing educational demands as K-webtoons make deeper inroads into the international markets. So before in the US, I heard that the paper forms of these comics were a lot more popular, but with the introduction of Korean webtoons and the scrolling down format, it has become a lot more popular to the point where it has been integrated into their academics as well.
Right, and staying with webtoons then, Arpita, I understand that K-webtoons are seeking greater inroads into the Indian market. What is the public response to this venture and its prospects of success in India?
So I believe that, there's a lot of aspects of Korean webtoons that directly attracts the Indian fans. One of them is definitely the fact that there's a lot of K-dramas now which are getting adapted from K-webtoons. So, if you are a K-drama fan, you would want to just go search for the actual webtoon that is also there already published. And also, I believe now that there's a, very compact format of reading those webtoons through your phone, through your iPad, through any notepads, any device, that helps the audience to kind of access the webtoons very easily. Now we have English translations available. That also helps. So over and all, K-webtoons is sort of bringing back the habit of reading, if you say so, and it's helping a lot of students. And also, I feel K-webtoons have a broader audience. So not just teenagers or not just students are interested, even working professionals, they enjoy the very vivid imageries. And there's a lot of genres to look for, right? It's not just romance, it's not just thrillers. You can choose your own genres. So as there are more genres expanding in the K-webtoons, we also have fans who are looking forward to reading more and more. And you can see Google Trends, and that would show you that Indian audience definitely have an appetite for K-webtoons.
Right, good to know. Arpita, during the 2-week time frame between September 26th and October 10th, the Indian media has been found to have published the most articles on Hallyu as compared to the rest of the international press, that is. Now, is this particular reality a clear indication of the growing interest in Korean culture and its contents over in India?
Absolutely. You also have to understand that a lot of Korean artists are now coming to India to meet fans directly, right? Which is something that is making fans more and more interested, which is also making the media getting more interested in covering the events that's happening. I would say this later, but we have a lot of events coming up where Korean artists are directly coming to India and will be meeting fans. So that shows that the interest is definitely countrywide, and we have Indian media covering it because of the fact that fans want to know more about it. Fans want to know details.
Right, Arpita, as you mentioned slightly earlier, this past weekend there was an annual Korean Culture Festival in New Delhi. Could you tell us a bit about that event?
Yes, so that was Rang De Korea, and that was actually the third, edition of this event that's happened this time. And one of the special fact about the event was definitely the K-pop band NTX's performance, but also the fact that Ambassador of Republic Korea came and gave a speech, which was very meaningful because he talked about the deep cultural ties that Indian fans have with Korea and how they can connect very easily with the Korean culture, and that is why also the Korean culture is getting more and more popular. I would like to mention that Rang De Korea was not the only event this weekend. We also had K-Wave Festival in Mumbai and Bangalore, where we had EXO Suho come and perform, which was also something of a growing interest. And a lot of fans went and attended the festival. And, there's so many reels and videos of that because they are very much impressed by the just talent of these Korean artists. Right. And to see it, live, it's a different experience altogether, as always.
By the way, Arpita, what does Rang De Korea mean? The title of the festival.
Korea, yeah. So Rang De is the word in Hindi. It means lend colors, give colors, basically like paint someone in. And so basically, it colors are a very part of. It's an integral part of Indian culture, right? We have Holi, the festival that happens. So Rang De Korea basically means like also paint Korea in, bring colors to Korea, and maybe also take colors from the Korean festival, if you can translate it that way.
Right. It's a beautiful name. All right, well, yes. Beyond Asia, Frankfurt is holding a Korean film festival starting Wednesday, that is today local time. Could you tell us a bit about the details of this festival?
Sure. So in Frankfurt, like you said, they're holding their 13th annual Korean Film Festival. It's kicking off on the 23rd and will run until 27th. Now, this year's event, organized by Project K, will celebrate the theme Generations, showcasing various films films from up-and-coming South Korean directors. Now, audiences can expect screenings of over 20 feature films and several animations at venues such as the Sinister Metropolis. And highlights include the films Wintering by Chang Junyoung, a story of three sisters living fiercely and growing as real adults, and K-web by Kim Ji-un, a black comedy drama that captures the ugly truth of the Korean film industry in the 1970s. And there's also Road to Boston, one of my favorites, by Kang Jae-gyu. It's a story depicting a marathoner, Seo Yun-bok, who won the first international sports event after Korea was liberated from Japanese colonial rule. And so the festival will also feature panel discussions with female directors like Seo Ah-hyun, Jang Jun-young, and Son Hyung-ro, who is not a female director, by the way, providing insights into their creative processes. Now, this year's theme will explore the connections between different generations in Korean and German cultures, marking 140 years of diplomatic relations between the two countries as well. Now, the Korean cultural experience in Frankfurt goes beyond cinema because they have the Korea Culture Day on October 26th, which will introduce visitors to Korean traditions and arts through exhibitions, music performances, and even interactive workshops celebrating the broader richness of Korean culture. Now, meanwhile, you mentioned earlier that there's another one going on in the UK. So in London, there's the Korean Film Festival as well, which is making waves for its dedication to gender representation in cinema. So the festival highlights the work of 15 female directors, shining a light on diverse female voices in an industry often dominated by men. So this includes works like 정선 by Choi Chi-hee, which is a powerful narrative about workplace bullying, and Our Body by Han-garam, which deals with women's societal expectations. And including these directors signals a significant shift in the global film industry toward greater recognition of female filmmakers, and South Korean cinema is at the forefront of this change. And female directors' contributions to storytelling are lauded for bringing fresh perspectives to some important themes such as family, identity, and resilience, and resonating with audiences worldwide. So both of these Frankfurt and London film festivals are really demonstrating the rising global influence of Korean cinema, not only in terms of entertainment, but also as a tool for important social commentary, because it's allowing filmmakers and artists to really explore complex social issues while engaging with international audiences. But I think it'll be great to see more of these international film festivals in Korea as well. I mean, we do have like the Busan International Film Festival, the Jeonju as well, but if it's dedicated to one country, then I think it will help raise recognition of their artworks a lot more here in the country.
Right, for sure. Meanwhile, Chi, I understand that German weekly news magazine Der Spiegel recently published a piece that sought to analyze the hype over K-dramas, right?
That's right. So this is pretty interesting because they actually analyzed why there's such a hype or popularity over Korean dramas and how they're continuously gaining this much popularity worldwide. So the outlet pointed out that while K-dramas have been primarily associated with the romance genre in the past, they're not strictly a particular genre, but rather encompass various styles and forms. And with the increase in global viewership, it's been observed that the stereotypical roles and expressions depicted in Korean dramas have somewhat diminished, and even traditional gender stereotypes and roles are gradually fading away from many of these dramas as well. And Professor Grace Jung, who spent 10,000 hours literally watching Korean television for her PhD in cinema and media studies, writes in her book titled K-Drama School that resonating with K-dramas can be a personal and social healing process. And she explains that Korean dramas are really the answers and expressions to the feeling of han, or the grudge, or the sadness that really transcends generations. and can be a healthy way of deviating and breaking away from the dark sides of reality. And the widespread popularity of K-dramas can also be attributed to the frequent inclusion of affective interludes, they call. So these are like moments that prominently showcase the heartfelt emotions of an individual or groups. And these emotions can range from nostalgic and romantic to despairing, grateful, all the emotions that a human being can feel, really. And this is why it can resonate with the global audience.
Right. Arpita, India itself has a very rich market with regard to movies. Bollywood, I grew up watching quite a bit of Indian movies starring Amitabh Bachchan, Madhuri Dixit, and the Khan brothers as well, because I had friends from India. How is it that Korean dramas are also popular there in India? Because you yourself, the country itself has a very rich, like I said earlier, a drama market as well.
So I would say Indian audience have always been welcome of, any sort of media that portrays emotionally intelligent characters. And K-dramas are increasingly showing that sort of how to develop a character with so much emotional intelligence. And it's not just romantic comedies, even in thrillers, everything is so well depicted. I would say that a vast majority of audience, and it's not just women or men, everybody likes to watch, because you have your own pick, right? If you want to watch a thriller, you have such you have a diverse selection to choose from, and if you want to choose a very light-hearted comedy, you have such a big selection to choose from. So I would say that Indian audience love when there are an emotional connection in the dramas, and K-dramas are so beautiful in regards to that. So there have been definitely, I would say it started almost a decade back if you look at the sort of rise in the popularity, but definitely right now is the peak of it, and we are seeing an appetite. Also, because the fact that there's a lot of subtitles now, so India is a country of many languages, right? You have Hindi, you have Tamil, you have Telugu, and now a lot of streaming platforms are delivering those subtitles in the regional language to fans. So then fans can enjoy the Korean dramas in their own language that they prefer, which definitely helps, because then language is not a barrier anymore. It's something that connects. And the fact that Korean dramas are so well, also they depict the cultural values and the family values of Korean culture, which also kind of something that connects Indian audience, because we believe the same thing. And yeah, that's one more factor.
And speaking about languages, Arpita, would you say that interest in K-dramas in India has also perhaps prompted a greater interest in the Korean language itself as well?
Absolutely. We have now official courses which you can take. We have a lot of Korean. A lot of students actually go to Korean, native Koreans also to get their language certificate, and because they want to consume more K-dramas or maybe K-music, so they don't want the language to stop them. So obviously we have, and that has also kind of sparked a travel interest, right? Because if you know the language now, you feel more confident in traveling. And so, yeah, there's a lot of interest in learning the language. I myself I started learning Korean after being into K-dramas. So there's definitely, it's all connected with each other.
Yeah, it really is connected, because I remember being really interested in learning Indian after I became exposed to Indian Bollywood movies, that is. Moving forward to you, what have been some of the latest articles regarding K-literature?
Right, so in the wake of course, Hangang's recent Nobel Prize in Literature, South Korean cultural achievements are continuing to rise, not only in K-pop and K-dramas, but also in literature and poetry. So in a recent article in The Guardian, it was highlighted that the growing international attention on Korean poetry is growing, and the works of poet Lee Seong-bok were particularly focused upon. So his latest collection of wise maxims titled The Indeterminate Inflorescence, that's a mouthful. It's 무한 화서 in Korean. Simply put, it means endless blooming. It's been praised for its evocative and philosophical style because the work delves deep into existential questions like life's fragility and the fleeting nature of human experience. And Seong-bok's poetry is celebrated for its rich imagery and introspective tone, reflecting on themes themes such as memory, the passage of time, and the human condition, often infused with a meditative quality. So we've talked about like the healing literature. It's sort of like that. And this work in particular reflects on human vulnerability and the transience of life, using the metaphor of flowers blooming and withering to evoke feelings of impermanence as well as morality, excuse me. And Lee's emergence in the international literary scene is part of a larger trend as well in Korean cultural exports, K-literature. Korean authors and poets are gaining more recognition alongside the global success of all the other K content. And publications such as sublunary editions are also playing a role in introducing Korean literature to English-speaking audiences because they're doing a huge job in helping translate many of these content. And I think the translation and the cumulative efforts for the past few years has really been the driving force behind all this success that we're seeing right now in Korean literature.
Right, for sure. Translations, of course. And speaking about writing then, Arpita, as an entertainment journalist yourself, what aspects of Hallyu are you interested in covering these days?
So I have worked with actually, multiple international media brands, one of them being UK, one of them being US. And I have found that they always want me to report more on the Korean food, the Korean literature. So there have been multiple aspects of Korean culture that people are very interested in. I would like to talk about the food first because there have been an increasing number of Korean outlets, food outlets, getting popping up in every city almost in India. Even in the small towns, you have Korean food available because the fans, the people who are watching K-dramas and people in generally who have traveled to Korea, they want to get that taste back. So, right, so, Indians are foodies by nature. So there have been a lot of interest in that regard in the food sector and obviously in literature. I remember a couple of years back, actually, BTS's leader, Arirang, he used to, sometimes suggest some books, or he would just say that I'm reading this book, and that book would get increasingly popular in Google Trends, even in India, and people would search, can I buy this book online? Can I buy this book, a physical copy of it? So literature, food, a lot of different factors of Korean culture are getting popular in India, and I don't see it slowing down anytime soon.
Right, good to know. All right, I'm afraid that's all the time we have for this edition. Arpita over in India, thank you so much for your time and your thoughts today.
Thank you so much for having me.
And she, as always, thank you very much for your insights.
Thank you, Sunny.
Right, well, thank you for watching this edition. Do be sure to join us again tomorrow, same time. That would be Thursday.